Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was, y'all, man. Welcome back, y'all, to another one, man. Another episode of JVJ Network. I am your host. Let's talk with JVJ, man. I hope everybody doing all right, man. But hold on, let me get my music up in here, man. We gonna go with creme. Yeah, we going with creme, man. Creme brulee, man. Gonna be soft and smooth today. Man, I hope everybody doing all right, man. On your way in, as usual, man, do your boy a favor by hitting that like, subscribe, share, turn notifications on, all that in the bag of chips. We trying to grow around here. Can only do it with y'all, so help a brother out. Man, look, I've been running across a few videos that's been pretty interesting that I wanted to get through. And I'm gonna start trying to do a lot of these midday live streams just to get through some of them because man, this shit start piling up and then after a while, man, it's just we're past the time to even be talking about it. But yeah, why does my shit look like that? Hold up, y'all, man. What the hell? Nah. Minimal. And why is it shit purple, bitch? Purple. There we go. All right. Now, either way though, man, we're gonna go through a few of them today. And make sure y'all tune in tonight, man. We got the sports show, man. We got to talk about these games that happen in the NFL, man. We gotta talk about the divisional round games, and then we also got to make our predictions for the AFC and NFC championship game, and see who we think gonna go make it to the Super Bowl, man. Because like we done, Indiana don't win the national championship. All we got now is two more football games, and then the Super Bowl, and then it's just all basketball from there. You know when baseball season come around, y'all know I ain't talking about no sports. I don't care about none of that shit no more. But yeah, we're going to get into the first one, man. Look, shout out to Jew Almighty, man. We know what's been going on up there in Minneapolis, man. There's a lot of crazy shit going on. And we got a lot of agitators that are out here trying to either on the left or the right, depending on which side you fall on. I don't really care because I know what's right. Yeah, oh Lord Jesus Christ. What the fuck is this shit doing? 1 second. What the fuck is this shit doing, man? Yeah. Looking down there, look up here. I don't know what the hell that was, y'all. I don't know what the hell that is. My shit just went completely out. But either way, though, we about to get into the video, man. Hit that like, subscribe, share, all that shit. Get your cigarettes, get your weed, whatever you need, all that in the bag of chips, man. We about to get into the first video. Shout out to Jew. Yeah, let's get to it, man. I don't know what the fuck. And we got commercials today, too, y'all. We got commercials. No more YouTube Premium around this bitch. No more YouTube Premium around here, though.
Every now and then, we get to watch karma play out in real life.
You're gonna sit around while you turn our children into a bunch of nigger lovers.
Like when white supremacists, racist, Nazi Jake Lang went from being in that mob of insurrectionists that attacked police officers and stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6th to that same guy who felt bold and protected in that mob, now getting mobbed himself and running for his life. But this is what happens when racists and extremists leave their little echo chamber because they spend so much time online hyping up and being hyped by other people just like them, reinforcing their own same whacked out beliefs, that they actually forget that they and people like them are minorities in the real world. And they usually end up getting punched in the face by reality, metaphorically. But this time, no metaphor needed. But I'm Jew. Welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
Minneapolis City Hall will be burning Quran, standing up against the Somali invasion of Minneapolis, the immediate deportation of Ilhan Omar, and the arrest of the scammer Tim Walz. Come join us 1 p.m. here.
How it started, how it ended. America is a Christian country. We will not allow Somali daycare pirates. And I'm a firm believer that when people show you who they are, believe them. So if you're doing Sieg Heils or Nazi salutes, you're a Nazi.
Go back, AIPAC, go back. That's the AIPAC building right there. White Christian men are not going to sit around while you turn our children into a bunch of nigger lovers.
And y'all heard what he said. White men are not going to sit around while y'all turn our children into nigger lovers. And you're going to see people later on come out and have sympathy for this guy right here. I want y'all to understand who y'all having sympathy for. And in this video, y'all going to see there's a black person that's actually going to be trying to protect this person and help him. When this man is out here spewing hate, vile vitriol against the black community, other communities, the Somalian community, because they say Somalians say they know black. They know black. So he talking shit about them. He talking shit about everybody. White Christian men practicing the faith of Christianity, y'all. The faith of, accepting everybody, bringing people in, helping the poor and all this, the downtrodden stuff. That faith, they're out here spewing hate against. They're pretty much contradicting what the Bible even tells them. But this guy that talked all that shit and said nigger lovers, the only person that's going to try to save him is a black person. He thinks
here's funny. That conservative activist doing a Sieg Heil. Exactly, they're Nazis. If they're doing Nazi salutes, praising Nazis and Hitler, they are Nazis. I'm not going to call them anything else. Breaking Minneapolis protesters shut down hate march led by right-wing agitator Jake Lang.
Are you running in fear? Did this turn out the way you wanted it to?
No.
No.
You already said it did not.
Did this turn out the way you wanted it to? No.
We already heard it from one of the guys himself. He tried to get into this crowd, and I don't know why, start some shit. I asked him if it turned out the way he thought he wanted it to, and he said no.
It's hilarious to me, the fact that they would go into that city right now to incite a reaction from those same people that are protesting and fighting back against ICE, only to get the reaction that they want and then be surprised.
If you whatever a Nazi isn't, then I'm a Nazi, bitch. Shut the fuck up.
I'm with the incel, Nick, Jeremy Lang. What's your body count, man?
Jake Lang.
What's Jeremy, though? It's Jeremy. What's it like being a virgin? When was the last time you believed?
He asked him what his body count is because we all know that these MAGA America First groypers that follow Nick Fuentes are all virgins, all hate women, and most likely closeted homosexuals.
And I'm a second that one right there. I'm a second that one right there. For somebody that actually gets some pussy every now and then, when you need it, you can tell when a dude's frustrated and bent up and ain't got nothing in a long time. And this is what they have to do to try to get off. And I don't understand how this is the path that you take when you're not getting what you want. You go to just evil. Because this is what we're witnessing, man. We got to get to the point in America where we start calling it's just good and evil, man. Just good and evil. You can say right and wrong, too, if you want to go down that path. But these people are going out here. They're snatching these folks up because of a small group of people. I want y'all to understand this. A small group of people committed fraud. And now they want to round them up and get them out the country. And the people in that city are like, look, man, it's one thing for y'all to get the criminals up out of here, but you're targeting other people that are just hardworking, everyday citizens trying to go to work, take care of their families. You're targeting them because a small group of people did something. What if that got turned on them people that are doing it right now? Like the Jake Langs, the Jeremy Langs. Because you're out here doing all this hateful stuff. Would it be okay for other people of other communities to go to your community and treat your people the way you're treating them right now? Because they keep calling themselves Christians, right? Y'all keep hearing them say they're Christians, white Christians. Is it okay for me to treat you the way you treated me? Because them people didn't do nothing to you. You can say they committed fraud. Well, guess what? Talk to your president just released a couple people for fraud. He released like 5 or 6 billionaires. A dude that trafficked over 400 tons of cocaine to America. He let him go. You ain't had no problem with that, but you got a problem with A small group of Somalians doing something bad, and let them be charged, let them have their day in court, and let's move on. But no, we want to demonize an entire group of people. But as soon as somebody brings up the white community, then they want to lose their mind and act like they're being targeted. But this is all you do. You target other groups. When white people ain't got nothing going on, you better watch out because they're going to be looking in your community. And I'm not saying that for all white people, but I'm saying for the collective. Because these are the loudest people in the room right now. So they're your representation. Just like y'all tell us the rappers and all them people that be shaking ass on TV, they're a representation of the black community. This is a representation of your community too. You got to take it. You can't dish it out and not take it back. That's all I'm saying. But let's keep going.
And it went left so fast because he went from being a loud and proud Nazi.
And look at this motherfucker. I would tell him, if I was there, I'd be like, nigga, get your ass back, bro. Don't help him. Because he would not help you. That motherfucker would cheer your demise. But you over here trying to save this little scary ass motherfucker. Came out there with a bulletproof vest on, thinking he combat, ain't never served, ain't never did nothing in his life, coming out there talking all that shit. But as soon as somebody fucking punched him in his face, then that bitch came out of him. Now he's scared. Like, nah, don't go agitate and bother people and then get scared. Don't do that. Be about that life. You're going to be about that life. And that's the problem. A lot of these folks, they talk. They talk. And if they got the advantage, they'll do something. But if it's a fair, straight up 1-1 fight, they ain't going to win it. And they know they ain't. So they're going to play hoe. And now you just put yourself in the lion's den because you definitely outnumbered out there.
So them throwing drinks, pouring water on them, everything else. And before you feel bad for Jake, real name Jeremy, this was good old Jake on January 6th, part of the insurrection, assaulting police officers and breaking into the U.S. Capitol. He's literally fighting his way to get to officers and attacking them. These are the same people that are pro-police and pro-government attacking the police and the government. A violent mob of insurrectionists. The right wing are crying that not a single cop showed up to help Jake Lang while he was getting his punk ass slapped around today. Here's a video of Jake Lang beating officers with a bat on January 6th. And another angle. That's him right there. Attacking police officers in the Capitol. But these are the so-called patriots. A bad day for Nazism in Minneapolis. Jake Lang, are you crying? Getting checked in real time by the same people you're supposed to be checking and speaking out against. It's just diabolical. Look at that sunning that's happening.
Sorry for the commercials, y'all. I'm gonna get the premium.
That man looks terrified. And it got much worse for the boy Jake. Much, much worse. They'll try to get to that man by any means necessary. They got him doing a full split. These black Captain Saber hoes need to just move. Like, what are you doing? He thinks you're an N-word with a hard R, subhuman, all of that. Get out of the way. Don't hit him. He was calling your people the hard R 5 minutes ago. They are on that boy's ass. It seems like Jake got the reaction that he was trying to get. He just wasn't ready for it. Jake Lang, January 6th insurrectionist and far-right agitator, had a fuck around and find out moment in Minneapolis. Like I said, we outnumbered them 1,000 to 1. If you remove the bot, how deep is the MAGA, America First Groyper movement actually? Like offline, how deep is it? So I don't know how much of this I'm actually going to be able to show, but just know that boy caught the beats the whole entire way through the mob. They walk with that man every step of the way.
Jake, you know what's a good idea. Oh, let's see talking.
And I want y'all to understand, like, in my soul, like, I don't feel good about seeing people get ran down the road and all this woo stuff. But I'm like, when you spew that much hate and you literally try to agitate people, you really try to bring the bad side of them, you literally advocate for the downfall of them when them people ain't never did nothing to you, bro, sympathy starts to just run out the window, bro. It ran out right out the front door, bro. And I don't advocate for shit like this. But I'm like, dude, you went out there looking for a problem. What's the term that a lot of people on the right like to say? FAFO? Fuck around and find out? Well, guess what? That's what he got right there. But there's going to be people on the right that's crying. Someone, look at how violent the people on the left were. He was out there burning Bibles, burning Qurans, because that's their Bible. Let somebody burn their American Bible in America and watch y'all so-called white Christians lose your fucking mind. But you will burn the Bible. I look like somebody do some bird shit on the back of that motherfucking head. It looked like he was leaking a little bit too. And I don't have sympathy for him. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't have sympathy for people that spew hate and want to see the downfall of other folks because they're scared. This whole white replacement theory shit that I keep hearing coming from the right, the people that white men keep saying about, like, look, you know, you're your own downfall of that. First off, you got people like Nick Fuentes that tell y'all having sex with women is gay. You're not going to have a race if you're not having sex with your women. That's number one. But then on top, like, I don't know what this shit doing, man. Shit acting funny. But I'm like, if you want to complain about being replaced, first off, you need to actually have sex with your women. And you're telling people not to have sex with your women. You're telling your own men don't have sex with your women. And then on top of that, you're complaining that they're going to other men. Well, if you're not going to have sex with them, they're going to have sex somewhere because, you know, that's just a human nature function. You know, that's what people naturally do. You're telling them it's gay to be with them. And then your leaders, look at these guys, man. You think a girl really want to get with a dude like that? Do you think a woman wants to get with a dude like that? These guys, I'm gonna show you the other guys in a second, man. But we're gonna finish Jake Lane real quick. Like Jeremy, I'm sorry, Jeremy. We got to say it right.
That black dude is such a goofy because that's the same dude that would turn around, call you an N-word hard R to your face. They did not let up on that man at all.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words,
It's so funny because the crowd objectively treated him better than the way he treated Capitol Police on January 6th. Big facts. After being chased by the anti-ICE crowd through several city blocks and a building, some of the crowd attacked Jake Lane and the car he got into before he was able to get away. Again, I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to show.
Hey, let them go! Let them go!
Were they looking for an Uber that whole time? She looks like she doesn't know what the hell is going on. Like, why are these people surrounded by cars?
No. Y'all need to fuck that nigga, man.
And you can understand why the protesters in the streets of Minneapolis are not going for any of that shit right now. Literally, look at what they're seeing on a daily basis. Chief Greg Pavino walking around Minneapolis in a custom Border Patrol coat with his security detail clearing out protesters. If his Border Patrol coat was meant to look like Nazi attire, 100% nailed it. Because he looks like a Nazi general right now. This man waited his whole life for this moment. You can just tell.
Hey, jump that bottom. You're fucking pretend. Coward chicken shit fucks.
He meant that. Coward chicken shit fucks. Look at this. This is America. So crazy. Over 90% of black people voted against Trump. Even when they're saying Trump gained ground with the black community, with black males, basically, that was still only like 14 to 15%. Meanwhile, a lot of the Latin community voted for Trump. A lot of the white community voted for Trump. And seeing this all play out now, after all the very clear as day warnings we got from people like Kamala and us knowing what this would be, it's just like, yeah, we knew this would happen. So to see white people so against fighting back on the front lines now, at least to me, kind of feels like when the United States finally got into the war in World War II, the other allied countries were fighting the Germans every step of the way, especially Britain. And then America finally got into the war and the tides turned. Like, yeah, we told you so. We've been against Trump and MAGA, America First, Project 2025, since before his first term. Y'all elected him the first time. Either he stole the election or y'all elected him the second time, or maybe a little of both. And here we are now.
Coward chicken shit fuck.
Tell me how.
And that's one thing that I will stand on. And I agree with Drew 100% on this. Black folks been the moral compass of this country for a long time. Look, we told y'all don't elect that motherfucker the first time. But America had a problem with electing Hillary. They didn't want Hillary in there. And I'll be honest with you, the way Hillary did Bernie and the Democratic Party did Bernie, she didn't deserve it. But damn sure he didn't. He damn sure didn't. But to go through that first term, them 4 years, and him lying about COVID and all the different things he did with fucking up the economy, to turn around and elect him again after he had got 34 felonies, Black people been the moral compass of this country. We've been telling y'all for the longest, like, bruh, and y'all don't listen to us. The things we told you that they do to us that y'all don't see, because we are a very segregated country. No matter what people want to say, we have certain areas in this country where it's kind of homogenous, and we have blacks and whites and Asians and Hispanics living together, that like in the upper echelon of shit. But for a majority, this country is segregated to the fullest. So when Black people in the hood and the Black people in these small Black neighborhoods were telling y'all, like, bruh, Trump ain't it. And y'all looked at us talking about, oh, you're just a victim. You're just all that. Look at what y'all doing now. Y'all put this motherfucker in office in pretty much less than 2 years. Look what we got. We got armed agents of the government in the streets fighting against white folks. And then they'll turn around and ask why Black people ain't helping. Because we told you. We told you. And you ain't want to listen. So now you dealing with the shit that we told you about. They shooting y'all women in the street. Just like they shot that girl up there in Minneapolis, shot her in the street and then lied and said she hit that ICE officer with a car. They still saying that shit when we had the video of it. We have the video. They're still saying that she tried to hit him. It's like, bro, come on now. Look, that's why I sit back and watch. Just sit back and watch, y'all.
How do you reform this? What kind of accountability do you set on people who want to cosplay the SS? There's a kind of soul-leveling corruption that can't be retrained or reprogrammed. It has to be rethought entirely. Abolish ICE, start from scratch. Why is ICE Chief Greg Bovino marching through Minneapolis while cosplaying as an SS? And we are just in the craziest timeline when foreign countries are sending war correspondents to the U.S. and the footage looks like a civil war in a third world country.
It's exactly a week since Renee Nicole Good was shot dead by an ICE immigration officer. Less than 15 minutes drive away where I am on this street, another person shot in an immigration raid. Protest that sprung up here, they've been trying to disperse it by firing pepper bullets and mace and flashbangs. Well, this gentleman says he and his family were unwittingly caught up in that mace got in.
Yeah, I believe they were even firing nerve gas or some type of war chemical, which is even illegal in war, into U.S. crowds and U.S. streets in U.S. states.
The car, he said his 6-month-old baby, a 6-month-old baby boy, couldn't breathe. And so he has been taken to hospital.
Yeah, that was a Black family and a Black baby. And I believe they were just trying to get home and ended up on that street, and ICE actually shot into their car.
Hoping that his son will be okay, but you can really sense, or I have been sensing over the past few hours, the level of anger here being directed at ICE agents. People in Minneapolis say that ICE simply has no part in their city.
And people are fed up.
Today I got arrested for being...
And look, man, this is America. Everybody had a problem. And this is the funny thing when you really do the comparison, because it'll really come down to right and left, even though I don't really agree with that, because right now this is just white on white violence. This is nothing but white on white violence. But let's say we brought it down to right and left. When Black Lives Matter was marching through the cities and stuff during that summer, you know, when they were talking about they're burning down cities, ain't seen one city get burned down. Maybe some fires got set a couple blocks here and there, or whatever. Cities did not get burned down. But they were out there marching and protesting because we all watched an officer kneel on a person's neck. No matter how you felt about that person, no matter about what that person did in their past, we all sat there and watched that officer kneel on George Floyd's neck until he died. And we all, even people around the world, knew that was fucked up, knew it was wrong. That's why those people were out there protesting. These people are out here protesting right now. Y'all are grabbing American citizens, snatching them up in the middle of the snow, 12 degrees outside, with just their boxers and some Crocs on, and dragging them to ICE detention centers just to find out that they're American citizens. You just shot a white woman in the head. These people have a legit reason to be out there protesting. But motherfuckers supposed to be perfectly fine. Like these people, the same people that are mad about all these protests, the two I just gave you, 2 examples, they're mad about these protests, but they didn't have no problem with the people on January 6th storming the Capitol, all because a motherfucker that puts on fucking suntan lotion every goddamn day with fake ass fucking orange skin told them that somebody stole an election from them. They stormed our nation's Capitol, yelling outside, hang Mike Pence. Them motherfuckers had a little guillotine out there while they were doing this shit, beating up on cops. The same people that say they're Cop first, back the blue, all that. They did all that. And they don't want nobody to say nothing when Trump pardoned them. It's amazing to me that you are justified when you go out and do violence in the name of a lie. But when these people go out here and they're actually on the right side of history, protesting you killing folks, they're in the wrong. This is America. And they got mad at Danny Glover because he made that song, This is America. This is America, bro. This is America. Mask off time, y'all. Let's keep going.
In a street. I wasn't impeding traffic. I was just scolding Nazis for their bad decisions. And then they sprinted after me and they chased me for blocks. A woman was filming me from her minivan and I begged her to let me in because I was scared. So I jumped in the back of her minivan and you know what they did? They came up and they put a gun to her face. They pulled a pistol on her and put a gun to her face. This is not America. This is not freedom. This is fascism. It's here now. They didn't read me my rights. They didn't read any of their rights. No one got to speak to a lawyer. One man was in there, they beat him.
That motherfucker said it's here now. It's beautiful to see a lot of my white brothers and sisters waking up to what we've been telling y'all for forever. And this is what happens when you don't know your history. When the powers that be intentionally don't teach you the history of how this country became to be, this would surprise you. That's the beautiful thing about growing up in the Black community. We know our history. Well, a decent amount of us know our history because we do have our coons out here. The Anton Daniels, the Brandon Tatums, the Night Talk. Candace Owens, she's still over there with them hoes too, even though she's kind of trying to push back a little bit. We know our history in our community. So we know what this country is capable of and what this country is willing to do. They're seeing it now because it's affecting them. And that's a big problem that we have in this country. This is a big problem that we have with people, period. Not just Americans. A lot of people don't care about things when it's not affecting them. But what's that good old saying? When they came from my neighbor, I said nothing. When they came from my other neighbor, I said nothing. But when they came for me, guess what? There was no one there to say anything for me. You sit back and watch them do it to other groups of people. All they're doing is just, what's the term? They're becoming an expert in doing it to people. So by the time they get to you, bro, ain't nobody gonna be able to do nothing to them. That's why I laugh when I see all these militias talking about we're gonna take over the government, we're gonna overthrow the. You ain't finna overthrow shit, bro. You done let this shit slide so long because they were doing it to black folks. You try to uprise against them. They're gonna be in your city just like this right now, doing exactly what this man told you they just did to that white woman he jumped in the car with.
His face and he was bleeding. Wake the fuck up, America. Stop pretending like the midterms are going to save you.
But going back to the racist, white supremacist, Nazi Jake Lang, he then tried to play the victim. After trying to incite violence.
Look, listen, really, he about to read this shit out. Listen to what this dude, Jake Lang, did. He said they're trying to turn them people into nigger lovers and all this stuff. We're burning Qurans, all this shit he was talking about. Watch when he read this shit out. Don't read it now, y'all. Wait till he read it out. Listen. This snowflake, this little crying ass bitch did. And that black person was sitting over there to defend him. I hope he see what the fuck this motherfucker wrote afterwards. After he got the safety, got behind his keyboard, this is what he wrote.
She absolutely 100% was successful at doing. He then got online and tried to play the victim, which is what all these right-wing people do. They act tough, they act like bullies, and then when they get reality checks, they cry about it. I was just literally lynched by an anti-white mob of liberals and illegal immigrants. I'm at the hospital now getting staples in my skull. Literally ripped limb from limb in Minneapolis. Jacob Frey maybe told the officers at Minneapolis police to stand down so they could watch me be eaten live on national television. All of a sudden, he wants police help, but he was attacking police on January 6th. President Trump sent in the National Guard. They are lynching white Christians on the street. Meanwhile, no shout out to the goofy black dudes that were protecting you and basically saved you from the crowd. I don't think you were literally lynched. Facts, he had a fuck around and find out moment, and he found out. Anytime these online racist white
My bad. Oh, I'm over here talking. Appreciate that. My bad. Damn, I was muted the whole time. I don't even want to say all that shit again. But look, y'all, when it come down to it, this man said something about lynching. He said something about lynching. He got lynched. That's people say that type of shit when they don't know their history, y'all. When they don't know their history. Because a lynching is where a bunch of white folks got some random ass black person and said he did something, hung him from a tree in the middle of the town, by a rope, hung him from a tree by his neck with a rope, cut his insides and pulled his intestines and all that shit out, and all the white people sat around and ate popcorn and enjoyed it, took pictures of it. That's a lynching. What happened to you, Jake Lang, was you fucked around and you found out. You went out there talking shit, calling people the N-word. You went out there talking about you're going to burn Qurans. And the people that even supposedly attacked you or lynched you were not even black, Asian, Hispanic, or fucking Arab. It was white people. So it sounds like some white people in this country are actually fed up with y'all bullshit, with your so-called revolution. They're tired of that shit. They don't want to hear that shit. And I really believe it comes from the people, the guys on that side that don't get no pussy and they can't compete with everybody else. So then they have to play victim and try to make it seem like somebody's doing something to them. That's what I think these guys are, in my honest opinion, man. They sit around and play that game. They play stupid games over and over and over. And then they have people that will back them up because, honestly, man, if white people don't want to go extinct in this country, man, look, start having sex with y'all women. That's why y'all stopped them from being able to have abortions. They use black women in the black community as an excuse to try to make it seem like they're holier than thou. They try to use black people as the archetype or the face of something to get their white women and all these other dummies in their communities be like, yeah, repeal Roe versus Wade. When really it came down to it, white women were having a shit ton of abortions. Shit ton. And then also, they ain't fucking with y'all. They go into other communities. They didn't want that. So what do you got to do? Fearmonger. Control people with fear, y'all. And the people on the right, they do a really good job with it. They're so stupid, they do a really good job with it. But we're going to keep going because, I'll say these things and people will sit around and say, oh, you're just a angry black man just saying this and saying that or whatever the hell. They like to play dumb. And shout out to XO Speaks because he going to point it out. And I like the way he pointed this shit out. How people like to play dumb. They like to, what they call it, throw a rock and hide their hand. Yeah. We're going to talk about how people like to throw a rock and hide their damn hand. Try to act like they don't know what they're doing when they do it. And then just play stupid. So check it out. Shout out to XO. Uh-oh.
These cowards love to pick on women.
Oh, no, let's go back so y'all can see what he said.
How are you getting in here and doing whatever?
These cowards love to pick on women.
Stop. And doing whatever you think you can do.
Stop. What's going on? I need a security here. Get away from me.
I'm asking you.
Get away from me.
I'm just asking you a question.
Get away from me.
I'm just asking a question. No, you're not. Shut up. This is one of those conversations that people rush through and then pretend that they don't understand what you're saying. When people hear the word racism, they still imagine it looking loud, right? Slurs, screaming, or somebody saying something outrageous in public. And because of that, people convince themselves that if they're not doing those specific actions, then they're not part of the problem. But that's not how most of this works anymore. A lot of harm being done to black people today does not come from loud hatred. It comes from playing dumb. It comes from white people acting like they have no idea what they're doing while benefiting from the outcome. And that's what we're talking about today. Weaponized incompetence. Not I didn't know or I didn't mean to, but it's the I'll act clueless after the damage is already done. Because when things go left, suddenly nobody's responsible. But when things go right, they know exactly what they're doing. You see how that works? Weaponized incompetence is pretending to be ignorant only when accountability shows up. It's not real confusion. It's selective confusion. It's knowing how to do something when it serves you and suddenly forgetting how it works when it hurts someone else.
All descended from slaves. It's just a question of when. Was it more recent or less recent? That's it. That doesn't mean a lot to a whole lot of people who aren't able to take advantage of the opportunities that you were able to take advantage of, simply because of the color of your skin. What advantages did the color of my skin give me? There's an ease that you have in society that many people of color don't. And there's a legacy of racism that still continues on in this country. If we keep talking about it nonstop, it will never go away.
If slavery never happened.
All right, y'all heard? That's Elon Musk right there. That's Elon Musk saying that. He doesn't understand what his skin color does for him. Elon, you grew up in South Africa with your racist ass daddy. You white people in South Africa are a very small, and I mean very small minority in South Africa. Why do y'all control everything? And he'll say, because, we're smart. we work hard, you know, we do what we need to do, we take care of our families, we're about community, they'll completely forget about the entire colonialism of South Africa. Oh, no, no army came in here and pretty much almost genocide these people, made them work for y'all to build y'all wealth. Y'all didn't give them the opportunity to be a part of the political process in their own country. None of that happened. It's just that, you know, we work hard. My skin color has nothing to do with that. Everywhere Europeans have gone, it's been death, turmoil, and chaos. But I want you to hear a pastor. This is one of the pastors right here. This is a Christian pastor in 2025, because you know we're in 2026 now. In 2025, saying this. And he's a Christian, y'all. Remember that. He's a Christian and he's a pastor. Listen to what he's about to say.
On stuff. It will never go away.
If slavery never happened, then you would be in a grass hut. Yeah. Right, well, we need reparations. Your reparations are that you get to live in America. You're welcome.
You get to have the Christian religion.
That's
live
right.
better than your ancestors.
The greatest moment in history for any brown or black country is the moment that the white man's ships arrive on your shore.
What did your ancestors honestly have to?
The greatest moment is when the white man landed on your shore. Nah, I think that was a moment that death and turmoil took root in our shit. Just throwing it out there for him. But you know, when you don't know your history, when you don't know the past, or when you just don't care, because that's another one. When you just don't care. Hey, look, I'm winning. I don't care what my ancestors did. I'm a benefit from what they did, and I'm gonna keep on moving. Y'all just need to shut up talking to me because I don't want to hear about it. That's probably the position I think a lot of them come from. For the ones that do know. For the ones that don't know, they just stupid.
Do tend to livestock, clean houses, pick cotton, dumb black people.
Now, listen to this. This dude is describing black people as during slavery. What they did during slavery.
That the white man's ships arrive on your shore.
What did your ancestors honestly have to do? Tend to livestock, clean houses, pick cotton, dumb black people.
And you cannot talk.
That's the average American right there. That's the average white American. That's on that side. That's them. Tend to livestock, pick cotton, called us dumb black people. So we're not gonna talk about any of the atrocities that these people had. And when people always say that slavery has existed for a long period of time, yeah. But you know what the funny thing is? White folks reinvented it. Because before it used to just be warring tribes here and there. We would take slaves and they would slowly integrate into the community, or they would go back to their tribe once their tribe rebuilt after they paid their debt for, you know, losing the fight. Europeans didn't do that. That's not how they did slavery when it came to people of other colors. No, I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna take your wife too if you got one. I'm gonna take your kids if you got them too. And guess what? If you have another kid, that kid's my slave. If your wife has another child, that's my slave. If any of your children have slaves, they're my slaves. That ain't how slavery was done around the world throughout history. But, you know, they don't want to talk about that. They just want to say slavery, slavery. That's why the United States has a special designation for the type of slavery that it had in this country. It's called chattel slavery, not slavery. It's chattel slavery. The same way we treat cows and pigs and chickens. That's the type of slavery we had in this country. But when you don't teach the history, you won't know it. And they try to play dumb. That's the whole point of this whole video. They try to play dumb and act like they don't know it. And a lot of them don't. But the ones that do, it's all wrong across the board either way, though. It don't really matter.
Imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. Well, let's talk about the fact that when you anti-slavery, let's talk about the fact that
slavery in America was.
Do you know that only less than 2% of white Americans owned slaves?
It was a system of white supremacy.
You realize that slavery is thousands of years old? Do you know who in America was the first race to try to end slavery?
And that falls under weaponized incompetence, because now all of a sudden slavery wasn't that bad, or it was something that we should actually be thankful for, according to them. So to come to that conclusion, you're purposely being ignorant. They play dumb when it doesn't align with their beliefs, even though everything is factually proven. It's saying, oh wow, I didn't realize that would happen, after you pushed it, funded it, promoted it, and defended it. And white America uses this tactic constantly against black people, especially when it comes to culture, crime, music, poverty, and violence. They love the profit, they love the entertainment, and they love the chaos, but they absolutely hate the accountability. And the reason this works so well is because it gives people a way to stay involved without ever having to feel responsible. You get to enjoy the benefits, distance yourself from harm, and still feel morally clean at the end of the day. And one of the biggest places that you see this play out is in how white America handles black culture. So let's talk about rap music, because this is one of the clearest examples. The white people who run the music industry are not confused. The labels aren't confused. The executives aren't confused. And the investors are not confused. These are the same people who track engagement down to the second. They know what sells and they know what trends. And over again, the versions that they fund and reward are the most destructive ones.
Now it seems like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup, and
it's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because she asked me talent or issues, and I said talent.
You don't think that's hypocritical though?
It's opportunistic. Yeah. I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
Music centered around
Y'all hear that, right? That's how that music exec at the top that signs these artists, that puts music out that they claim is so detrimental to the community. He is the last say-so. He's the last step before that artist actually gets able to put their music out. And he says, I'm putting it out there because I got people to feed. So you'll cause the situation and then blame the people for the situation you caused. I'm going to put you in a fucked up situation. I'm going to put you in a fucked up neighborhood, no money, no resources. And then I'm going to blame you when y'all start stealing to goddamn get resources. When y'all start killing over resources. When y'all can't take care of your kids because of resources. I'm going to blame you for it, but I put you in that situation. It's a funny game they play. And a lot of people don't catch on to it. They don't catch on to it.
Living, drugs, death, chaos, and self-destruction gets marketed the hardest, playlisted the most, and pushed the furthest. They don't just allow it, they incentivize it. They sign artists specifically for that reason. And that's not because that's how all black people are. That's because that image is the most profitable. But when violence happens in real life, or when communities are affected, suddenly it's, why is black culture like this? Why do black people glorify violence? Or why doesn't the black community do better? As if the same people asking those questions weren't the ones cutting the checks, greenlighting the content, and deciding what the world sees.
Okay, this isn't just ghetto black culture. This is demon culture. Not only has rap music just utterly destroyed black culture, but more and more people, white people, Mexican people, are listening to rap music, and it's affecting the American public.
Rap glorifies violence.
You know what the funny thing is? These are the same, that pastor right there, I've seen some of the things he's talked about. He didn't have nothing bad to say about January 6th. Not a thing. He actually glorified it. But he's talking about the black culture. You think he hang around black people? Probably not, right?
And murder. I'll smoke that N-word if you test me. I'm gonna bust a cap in your ass.
Notice how there's no mention of the role that white people play in rap music, even though they're the ones that are funding it, incentivizing it, and promoting it. That's weaponized incompetence. And trust me, I already know what some of y'all are thinking. Well, black people need to take accountability for the music they make, because if they didn't make that music, white people wouldn't have anything to push out in the first place. But you gotta understand something. In every community on earth, every race, every group, there's going to be degeneracy. That's universal. It doesn't matter which group you identify with. I could look at the white community right now and point out certain problems. Real issues that are in y'all community. But those problems don't reflect all white people. They don't define the entire group. Now, imagine if I zoomed in on just those issues, funded them, promoted them, and pushed them nonstop to the world over and over again. Eventually, people would start believing that that image represents all white people. But it wouldn't, right? It would only be a reflection of a small selective group, not you all as a whole. And not to mention that there's a lot of black artists that don't promote degeneracy at all, but they never get the same push. And a lot of times they're actually told to make more violent music so they can get that push.
I wasn't on stages like this. I was on rap stages rapping about, violence and guns. That we get paid to rap about that stuff. They actually pay us more when we rap about more ignorant stuff. So I make sure.
This pattern doesn't stop with music. It's movies, TV, social media, the news, you name it. They boost degeneracy when it makes money, then shame us when it becomes visible. They'll amplify a clip of a black person doing something stupid before they would ever show up.
Meet Speedians, Gym Monster 2, your all-in-one smart home gym. It's compact,
us doing something normal or ordinary. Because chaos, fear, and stereotypes sell. So they push it when it makes money, but once there's backlash, now it's about personal choices, free expression, or nobody forced anyone to do anything. Now that sounds reasonable on the surface, but it ignores one key thing: power. When you control the platforms, the funding, and the visibility, you don't get to act like you're just a passive observer. You're shaping what people consume, how they see us, and what narratives dominate. So acting clueless after the fact doesn't erase that.
And key word for people that didn't get that, for the folks in the back, you know, those slow learners, you can't set up the business, run the business, be the head of the business. And when somebody inside of the business following your leadership does something wrong, claim anonymity to it. I have nothing to do with it. That's just them. Even though I set up this whole thing and I told them to operate this way, I ain't got nothing to do with it. My hands are clean on this. That ain't how it works.
We're not stupid like how y'all think we are. That same confusion shows up whenever crime gets brought up. You'll see crime stats thrown around with no context, mugshots blasted everywhere, and viral clips being pushed nonstop. No discussion about policy, no discussion about history, and no discussion about economic conditions.
Statistically, a white person is 30 times more likely to be killed by a black person than the other way around. We know that. That's just true. In 2019, there were about 560,000 violent interracial incidents between blacks and whites. 470,000 of them were black on white. That's 85%. 85%. 240 black people were killed by whites. 560 white people were killed by blacks.
Here's the thing that really gets me. The left and the media with all the microphones will tell us that white men are the problem. White supremacists are the biggest threat to this nation and the entire world. If white guys would just go away, all of our problems would be solved. But you know what I actually see with my own?
They didn't say if all white people go away, your problems will be solved. But they did say domestic white terrorism, white supremacy in America is the biggest threat to America. And we're seeing it play out right now. So I'm ready to see what Becky got to say. What you got, Becky?
Two eyes. I see hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud being perpetrated by the Somali community in Minnesota. I see a story just about every day at this point of a mentally ill, drug-addicted black man beating or stabbing or punching a random white woman on the street.
Why do we always see the perpetrator being black?
Man, I don't know. I love all people. My roommates are black. I'm done.
Why do we always see the perpetrator being black? Being black. Being black.
The goal isn't understanding, it's reinforcement. Then they turn around and say stuff like, see, this is just how they are. But when you bring up redlining, mass incarceration, over-policing, underfunding, or the deliberate destruction of black wealth, suddenly it's, that was a long time ago, or I didn't personally do that, or why are you bringing up the past? They understand systems perfectly when those systems benefit them. But when those same systems explain inequality, now they suddenly can't follow the same logic anymore. Social media made weaponizing competence even easier. Now people hide accusations behind questions. They frame stereotypes as observations and disrespect as curiosity. They already know what they're implying, but they don't want to stand on it directly. They're not curious. They're laundering an accusation through fake confusion. You already know what you're implying. You just don't want to stand on it. That's why it's very passive aggressive. Because if you push back, now all of a sudden you're just too sensitive. You're labeled emotional, sensitive, aggressive, even though nothing about the original comment that was made was innocent. And this allows people to attack without owning it and insult us while trying to pretend like they're just here to understand.
Let me ask you a question. How do you get to this country and have this much money to start a store and buy houses for $500,000?
$500,000?
Yeah, the house on Crossridge that you were trying to buy for $500,000.
On Quest?
Crossridge. Did you put an offering for $500,000?
Oh, well, then we'll finance you.
I'm trying to ask.
Hey. Be nice. No. What's going on?
I'm trying to ask. How are you getting in here and doing whatever?
Who?
Now y'all see how that went left real quick, like, and then watch again how he tries to play like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Stop.
I'm doing whatever you think you can do.
Stop. What's going on? I need a security here. Get away from me.
I'm asking you.
Get away from me.
I'm just asking you a question.
Get away from me.
Why are you buying? How do you have money to buy all this bread?
Security, please. I need a security. Get away from me.
I'm just asking. How come white people?
They're just asking. You just call that lady a nigga. He's just asking. Look at that little smug look on his face. And these are the people that are being targeted. These are the people that are being persecuted and oppressed. Look at that face right there. That's the face of oppression. Well, the face of somebody being oppressed, right? That's what they want you to believe in America in 2025, 2026. You're going into random stores. And you see the funny thing, he ain't going up to no black dude. He went up to a black woman. Not even from here. Like, obviously, she's from another country. You can hear the accent. She's probably from Africa or something. She might be from the islands. You go up there. So for some reason, you done went and looked into her shit to see what she's trying to buy. So are you intimidated that she has the ability to put in to get a house that costs $500,000, which you can't do it or something? So what do you got to do? You want to try to make it seem like she's doing something else? Like what's the end game? What's the end game right here? Because you already insulted her and other black people that come to this country. You know, that's perfectly fine. And if somebody punched him in the face, he'll be the victim, right? But let somebody come up to you and do that to you in your community. When you just minding your business, just trying to buy groceries. Yes, these people are the problem in the country. This is the problem right here, y'all. This right here, this far right, white supremacist, motherfucking white nationalist move. This is the problem. And a lot of them eat it up because they want to be a victim. You wouldn't eat this up if you win it. You think the dudes at the very top are fucking buying into this shit? The white dudes at the very top that's running things? You think they buy into it? No, they probably perpetuating it to get these dummies to keep on fucking crashing the fuck out. They're winning. They're not complaining about these things. But the people at the bottom, the incompetent, the ones who can't compete, they're the ones complaining. And they're going around trying to pick on the weakest target. Because you wouldn't go and pick on the black dudes. A lot of them say that shit. They talk all this shit and say the N-word or whatever. They will not come to the projects and say that shit. They wouldn't come out there and say that shit. And if they do, they come in strapped. They come out there to insult people and come strapped just in case somebody try to check them. Like, I got my gun on me. Talk shit and play hoe.
White people can't fill a shopping cart, but these coming out country.
You hear what he said? White people can't fill a shopping cart, but these come over here. So you're jealous. You're jealous that she came to this country and worked hard, and she's doing better than you. So something must be wrong. Something must be wrong that this black woman came to this country from another country, and she's doing better than you now. I want to ask him the question, who runs this country? Because it ain't black people. It ain't Asian folks. It ain't Native Americans. It ain't Indian folks. It ain't Hispanics. Who runs this country? Your people do. So you saying your people rigged the game for her to do better than you? Or are you just not built up to actually live in that white fucking grace that you got in this country? And I think it's more towards that side that you're incompetent and can't compete than it is that they did something for her, because this country has a long history of doing shit against people that look like me. But that's just my opinion. We got what the hell you call me Josh Folina? My name ain't no goddamn Josh. You say, or pick on the helpless. Yeah, they pick on the helpless, man. It's sad, man. It's sad. And they would be the ones calling people snowflakes and calling them victims, but all that is just a projection of how they feel about themselves on the inside. It's just a projection. You're the one that's helpless. You're the one that feels like, man, look, man, grow some balls and be a fucking man. How about that? Go work, nigga.
Can somebody call me a security, please?
And they come in this country. These ones too. What are you guys doing? You gonna fill up a whole shopping cart? Are you gonna fill a whole shopping cart up?
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Take your stupid camera somewhere.
When white people dominate an industry, they get praised for intelligence. When black people dominate an industry, it gets framed as degeneracy. When white kids act out, it's he's trouble, he has mental health issues. But when black kids do the same thing, it's a culture problem, fatherless, or a community problem. It's the same behavior, just different excuses. Because incompetence only becomes believable when it protects power. They do this because it's the cleanest way to keep control without ever looking like the villain. And that's very important to them. They never want to look like the bad guy. Outright hatred is risky nowadays. Well, in some cases, it's starting to become more accepted. Being openly racist can cost you your job, your reputation, and certain access to specific places. In some cases, because nowadays we're seeing a lot of racist people being funded. So instead of saying what they really feel, a lot of people learn to hide behind confusion. They learn how to act unaware while still benefiting from the same systems. That way, they still get the power, but they don't get any of the blame. They get to profit off black culture, but when the outcome turns ugly, they can step back and act like spectators instead of participants. It creates this distance where they can judge without ever acknowledging how involved they actually are. And that distance is very important for them. Just look at the Luigi Mangione or whatever his name is case. That's what happens when people start to realize and actually ask legitimate questions. Because if they had to admit how much control they actually have, then they'd have to admit how much responsibility comes with it. They'd have to confront the fact that a lot of what they criticize doesn't just happen organically. It was funded, protected, and encouraged by people that look just like them.
Folks, I hate to say it, but white folks are largely professional gaslighters when it comes to race. We are professional liars when it comes to race. It's part of white supremacy and how it functions and how it works. From the very first African that was enslaved, we have been gaslighting Black folks as white people. That's our culture. That's our tradition. That's our indoctrination. And that's what we do. And that's what we do best. If we teach the truth, what will happen? White supremacy could be threatened. Economic advantages for white people, the dominant position could be threatened. They're threatened. Like all bullies are threatened. They're threatened by their victims.
So instead, they convince themselves that a different story makes sense. A story where Black people are just naturally dysfunctional, where violence is cultural, and where poverty is just a personal failure. They remember parts of the system that makes them feel innocent, but they somehow forget the parts that make them complicit. So plain.
And he's 100% correct. Regardless of how many people get around here and act like that's not the case, that's the case. But hey, I got Lena up in the building. What's going on, Miss Lady?
Hello, hey Jay, how you doing? That's where I have a problem with. I can understand, like, okay, white people will say, "Oh, well, y'all commit so much violence and stuff," but I say the thing is that we're convicted at a higher rate than white people. If you police our areas harder or heavier than theirs, you're bound to find something. Even for the same crimes, Black people get harder time. They pay more fines, and I'm like, why? Even with the same, they've done studies where they had the same background with the same judge and the same amount of zero crime, zero, this their first offender. The white man go in there and he doesn't get any time or something like a slap on the wrist, and the Black person get way harsher punishment. So I don't understand, like, and then white people think that I understand I see older white people and they think, oh, Black people are, criminals, and I believe that they're scared of the propaganda, but I don't understand why they think that it's decreasing and the white man is like doesn't have a chance and experiences racism. I believe white people could experience racism, but not systematic racism. Like if you're in the right space, yeah, you might run into a few people that might not like white people, but not at the scale that other minorities are. You can move away from minorities. Like you can move in all white areas just about. But leave it to them, they act like Black people are like the real problems. Like we only make up 13% of the population. You can move away from us. Literally. Never see a Black person.
Majority of them don't even live around Black people. That's the funny part about it. Majority of them don't even interact with white like Black people on a day-to-day basis, but we have so many news networks, well, mainly Fox News, that promotes this scare the shit out of white people because these other people. We have social media where we have a lot of people that done came on here now and they spew the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it scares them. It scares the shit out of them. Like a lot of people, like you can control people by multiple ways, dumb them down or put the fear of God in them. And they do both.
I think the fear of God. And I do see that violence, and I feel for the Black youth, with the like drill rap and stuff like that. Okay, I live in the city. People's like, well, how can you say that? You live in Chicago, and yes, and we have violence in Black areas, but we also have violence in Black, in Hispanic and white areas. It's not just the Black people bringing it down. But I understand. Okay, we might be we might have more violence considering like poverty, crime, stuff like that type of stuff. I was like, okay, I will take that we might be more prone to violence due to circumstance. However, if you eliminate the circumstances and give us a fair shot at jobs and education opportunity, my argument is you will decrease the violence among the Black community.
Well, that's never the goal. And I ain't even gonna say that Black people are more inclined to violence because I'll just look at history. That's one thing I always like to try to use. I like to use history as a good teacher and a good point to operate from an argument. Look at history. What countries have we conquered?
None really. We conquer each other.
We ain't going around. We fight with each other, and that's the funny thing when they talk about people like the same excuse they use with the Native Americans when we grew up. They called them savages because they were fighting and warring with each other. What the fuck were Europeans doing up there in Europe?
And fighting with each other.
They praised the Vikings. The Vikings used to prey on other white people all throughout Europe. They would leave from where they were, go down there, rape, pillage, take everybody's shit, and then go right back up that ice. And they did that for hundreds of years. And then they started warring between each other, all France, Britain, all that shit. They're warring against each other. But you want to talk about some small ass tribes in Africa, some small ass tribes in America. When the fuck have we ever got on a boat and went to another fucking country and took their shit?
Never.
Never. What are we trying to do as Americans right now? Not all of us, but you know what our leadership is doing right now? They're trying to take Greenland. They're trying to take Venezuela. They want to take fucking Cuba. They want to take Colombia. They're continuing the same thing that their ancestors did, and they try to play it off as if it's nothing. But that's what happens when you don't know your past. You're doing to repeat it. And a lot of the dummies that voted for these type of people sit down and think like, yeah, we need it for American interest. What's American interest? To take advantage of other people. That's all America's ever been built on.
That's true. I gotta be right back. That's your boy. I gotta be right back.
Yeah, go ahead, girl. Fucking the shit it's embarrassing, and then the gaslighting is just not cool, man. I'm not trying to sit here and have a whole like dog out these motherfuckers, but I'm like, when it comes to the Jeremy Lang or Jake Lang, as some people want to say, there's people out there that have sympathy for that guy. This guy was beating on cops. Y'all claim y'all are against that. This guy was trying to storm a building without having authorization. Y'all claim y'all are against that shit. But then when that motherfucker goes out there and starts yelling out racial slurs, trying to fucking incite people with their religion and burning their religious books, like if anybody did any of that shit towards y'all would literally go get your guns. You get your guns and your trucks and your rope, and probably your dogs too, to try to come do something to them. But as soon as somebody hits that motherfucker in the head with an ice cream cone, all hell fucking Mother Mary, like we need to fucking do something. We got to get these people out. No. You can't be the agitator and be the victim at the same time. You can't. You can't. You can't be the person that's out here starting shit and then complaining when you don't win it. And I'll tell you, like me, I can't speak for the whole black community, but I know y'all have noticed that I haven't been speaking on any of the shit that's been pertaining with ICE. Like I really don't speak on that shit too much. You know why? Because a lot of the communities that are being targeted right now turned their backs on black people as soon as they got here. They believed they drank the Kool-Aid that these white folks gave to them when they came to this country. Because a lot of immigrants tell them to stay away from the black community, woot woot this, woot woot that. And a lot of those stats when it came to like Lena was talking about committing crimes and stuff, let's be real about it. Black people dominate in certain industries when it comes to crime. White people dominate in certain industries when it comes to crime. Asians, Hispanics, yeah, we dominate. We all have our different groups, certain things that we're more prone to. I would rather somebody be more prone to stealing when they don't have nothing than somebody that just likes to touch kids because they're bored and can't get no pussy. Just being honest with you. I'd rather you steal $5 out of my pocket than fuck my daughter against her will. I don't know about y'all, but I know white people dominate that shit. I know they do. I don't hear anybody crying about that. Because ain't we supposed to be still getting some Epstein files? What happened to those? I ain't seen them. But we want to talk about some Hispanics coming across the border. Now you got all these white people out here that ran all these businesses that were hiring illegals. Same people that voted for Trump were hiring these illegals are crying now because now their business is going to go under because they didn't want to hire black people. They'd rather hire Hispanic and pay them less. And then they voted for a motherfucker that was going to take their workforce away. Y'all think I feel sorry for that? All these farmers, all these construction companies. Yeah, them guys. Look, I'm just talking to the people that wake them up. I don't give a fuck about trying to help folks that want to have that hate in their heart. There's a lot of people that run around this world that have hate in their heart, and they can't even survive without hating somebody else. I ain't got nothing to say to you, man. I'm just letting you know, like you need to open your eyes and understand reality and see what it is. Now, if you see it for what it is, and you still down with that team, you still down to get down like that. By all means, man, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. But please stop playing dumb and trying to act like you don't know what's going on. You do the things that you do and then pretend like you throw that rock and then you hide your hand. We're not going for that type of stuff, man. We ain't going for that type of time, man. Ain't on it. And it's the funniest shit because I got one more I want to show y'all before we get up out of here, man. Because we're going back to Jew. We're going to go back to Jew on this one. These motherfuckers are real fucking funny, bro. Matter of fact, we're not going back to Jew. We're going to go to Rouge Lane, man. Because I actually saw this shit the other day, and I thought it was very interesting. And shout out to this white brother, because I know we have allies out here. We have allies around here, people that actually get it, people that actually understand what's really going on in society, and they don't play them dumbass games. I want to get this dude a shout out because he don't need a shout out for me now because we on the backup channel. So yeah, if we was on the main channel, it'd be something different. But I want to get this dude a shout out because this conversation right here, this is a pastor once again. Y'all saw him earlier. He said the greatest, like people of other ethnicities, races, black people should be happy when the white man. That was the greatest day when the white people showed up on our shores. I want y'all to hear this pastor, and I want y'all to hear the pushback because I would love to sit down and have a conversation with a lot of these guys and really challenge their belief because it's really coming from a sick ass place and hitting them with just logic and basic understanding of history. You can demolish them real fast. But I want y'all to see what this gentleman says. Shout out to, once again, what's his name? Russian KD. I just came across the channel, man. So, yeah, we're going to see this real quick. Like, y'all check this out real fast.
People from opposite ends of the earth en masse, wave after wave, with no pause in between, and putting them in the same place, and then encouraging same-sex marriage, encouraging abortion, encouraging intermarriage, encouraging all these different things, saying, well, you know what, if this forms a new ethnicity, and I don't think that's normal. What we're talking about is liberty of conscience. We're talking about this category where something may not be best, it may not be the ideal, but it is still permissible nonetheless. This is a category in Scripture.
Yeah, you're talking about wisdom issues. Right?
Yeah.
You're talking about wisdom issues.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about wisdom issues, you're conflating, again, ethnos and race with culture and faith. That's a huge distinction.
I think it's unwise to genocide the entire European
That's
race.
an emotional argument. You're backdooring emotionally charged language to make the white kids who watch this feel like their jobs.
You could just say, I think it would be tragic if white people perish from the face of the earth. Like that's not an emotional.
I would also say the same thing, that it would be horrible if white people perish from the face of the earth. That's different.
We know you don't take that position, but if interracial marriage was normative, came to the point, if you guys, it grew and grew and grew in popularity, and you guys said, hey, there's nothing in the Bible against this. If it grew to 50, 60%, European people would perish from the face of the earth over generations. They just would. So we're saying that's a logical
outcome. None of us would be
outcome.
here, bro.
You don't want it. I don't want it.
None of us
so
would
let's
be
walk
here.
back.
None of us would be here. Go ahead.
Wait,
but my children, my offspring would be.
So your offspring, only offspring, if they look exactly like you.
That's like a Hezekiah move. Hezekiah hears that bad things will happen after his lifetime. This is Hezekiah's the original.
No. I'm saying I don't think.
It won't happen in my lifetime, so I don't care.
Respectfully, if we're being honest, I don't think either of you are going to care if your grandkids or your great grandkids are mixed. I really don't think there's going to be an issue.
If they possess the nation that was gifted to them.
Yeah, but that's an arbitrary definition of nation. We already agreed that there's nations that are mixed ethnic, that exist. So you guys being down the road, your grandkids, your great grandkids, and one of them is white, and one of them is mixed, and one of them married a Spanish guy, and one of them, you guys aren't going to care. Like, be honest. You're not going to care. You're going to love those grandkids. You're going to see the image of God. You're going to see yourself in them. You're going to celebrate what God is doing through them. You're going to celebrate the Christian heritage that you laid out for them as the primary identity markers. This stuff's not going to matter in generations and generations.
Yeah. So one of these new ethnicities, whether it's the American ethnicity, this is what Teddy Roosevelt said about 1900 to 1910, 1920. He said that there were multiple different ingredients. Let's use this analogy of like a furnace, multiple different ingredients. You have the French, you have the Celtics, you have the, this, that, and the other, and the Brits. They come in, Germanics. They come in, and what you have is time. You have not 1,000 ingredients. You have 5, 6, 7, and they're not distantly related, but much more closely related. They then come into this furnace. And the furnace is providence. It's adversity. It's the hardships of settling a new continent, a new country, all these things. So you have high heat, adversity, providence. You have long periods of time, right? There's decades that go by, a couple centuries, if you're going all the way back to 1600s, all the way up to the 1900s. And the ingredients are few rather than many and more closely related.
Did y'all catch that word? Because I was trying to wait for a second to see what he was talking about. He's talking about America. He used the term settled. You got all these people coming and settling in this country. No, you mean people came to this country, raped and pillaged, and pushed out the people that were here ahead of time. Not settled. You came in and colonized these motherfuckers. You stole their shit. It's amazing how you can use certain words to describe what happened in the past and not make it seem so bad. These people just didn't just welcome you in and say, yeah, just take all our shit. You came in and killed them for it. But we just settled. It's amazing how they talk about their history, but they'll talk about other people like as if they're a child, like they're nothing but a child of God. You're not even close to a child of God. But what they did, is we just settled. We just settled a new country.
What we're doing today with globalism is not that. It's not like, part of the French and part of, the Nordics. They went and they settled it and they became that's not what we're doing. We're taking people from opposite ends of the earth en masse, wave after wave, with no pause in between, and putting them in the same place, and then encouraging same-sex marriage, encouraging abortion, encouraging intermarriage, encouraging all these different things, saying, well, you know what, if this forms a new ethnicity, and I don't think that's normative. I don't think that that's the way that nations developed historically.
You're railing against globalism. I'm saying there's nations here today that this has already happened to. If you look at Brazil, if you look at Puerto Rico, if you look at Mexico, if you look at America, all of these exist. So say there's a group of white folks that come to a country and they say, hey, we want to have a inter-ethnic community. Do you have an issue against that?
Say it again.
A group of white folks, they come, they start a new nation, and they say we want to have inter-ethnic people. We want to have inter-ethnic community. Do you have an issue with that?
What, like
little Czechoslovakia? Is
like
that kind of what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like
they
white
want to
people,
be inter-ethnic.
like, all right.
Yeah, they're a bunch of people, and they decide they want to be a mixed people. Should they be allowed to preserve that?
A small group, like what?
It's irrelevant. Just a group of people
here in the United States.
A country make believe.
A country of make believe. So you're saying some white people from America,
yes,
they go to a new place. And they say, we want to start a new ethnicity. And so we're going to go.
No. They're okay, whether it's ethnos, whether it's nations. They are okay with having a bunch of different folks together.
I would say that it is biblically permissible, but should not be normative.
You also do see how that in time all of that would synthesize into one single ethnicity. Again, right? You see how that would occur. And then, by the way, would they still bring people in? Like, I mean,
I think Brazil and all these countries that are mixed ethnic, creating a new ethnicity, I think are as a people group distinct. And I think generally speaking, I don't think they have an issue with their countries. Yes, you can point to whatever corruption is going on there. I think the broader conversation is if God is provident, if God is sovereign over all of this, these places already exist. And America is already, you could argue whether America was intended to be a white only nation or a mixed nation, a melting pot, depending on which people you want to cite and source mine. But these places already exist. And God's providence is already going to be nations and revelations. That's the end. So whatever's going to happen in between then, that's already predicted. Right. And we already have these nations of mixed ethnicities. They're here now.
I have a question.
It's crazy, y'all. It's really crazy how these people will say that they're not racist. They love everybody, but keep them people the fuck away from mine. Not because of something they've done, but strictly off of the color of their skin. And this is a Christian pastor saying this shit. And they wonder why a lot of people have turned away from the church. Because you got people like this that spewing this hate. And you go to the black side, it's just people spewing, trying to get money out your pocket so we can like, that's why they mad at Drewski right now, because he called them out on their bullshit. These people are not leaders of people. These are wolves. These are wolves, y'all. I'm saying it. They're wolves. And they're preying on the sheep.
If this is if that little segment is done, and I won't like push back, and I'm just curious. So you said you have, your pastor got all these members, right? Interracial members and all that kind of stuff. And are there interracial couples in your church as well? Yeah. Okay, so let's say that there's an interracial couple that's coming to you for marriage counseling. They're not married yet, but they're seeking to get married.
Right. That's a great question.
How would you handle that? Would you discourage that, or what? How would you deal with that?
Yeah, so I've done this in my premarital counseling. If I have two individuals and there's not just different racial, but also different racially, but also different ethnicity, meaning some language barriers, right? Or like obviously, they probably wouldn't be dating if they couldn't speak at all. But for this gal, she's from Brazil and English is her second language. And this guy, is white as the driven snow, and English is the only thing he knows. Then yes, I've said this is going to add extra difficulties. It's going to be more challenging. Marriage is already sanctifying. So my view of marriage in the sanctification category is that in marriage, God takes two sinners, locks them into close proximity so that they are, whether intentionally or inadvertently, constantly stomping on one another's idols. Marriage is sanctifying, period. Amen. And it's good. Praise God. That's one of the, I would say, purposes of marriage: procreation, sanctification, gospel proclamation, picture of Christ in the church, the eternal marriage, also a hedge against temptation. If anyone burns with lust, let him marry.
I let you know, when he said that picture of God in church or Jesus in church, like, dude, you already know you're not no real preacher. Said no graven image of me. It's in the Bible. Make no graven image of him. But you got an image of God or Jesus in your church? Okay.
Marriage actually is a solution, not the only, but a solution. One of the ways that a young man wins the fight against lust is take a wife, right? So, because my whole story.
That is a lie. Man can get married and cheat on his wife. Lust is still there.
Has been published on the internet. I failed sexually because I waited too long to take a wife. Once I took a wife, by the grace of God, now well over a decade, I have been a faithful man. And praise God for that. My wife helped me tremendously. Awesome. So all that being said, yes, I have counseled. I've officiated interracial marriages because it is biblically permissible. And so, but in my counseling, that would be one of the things that we would cover. It wouldn't be the main thing, it wouldn't be the chief thing, but it also would not be nothing. It would be a thing. And I would say, this is challenge. Like, we have a young man in our church, and he knows that this debate was coming up, and he's online and has seen the controversy over the last week on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. And he said, please don't use my name because I'd like to keep my job. Don't dox me because I'm a bit of a lightning rod. But great guy, and he's married to a Brazilian wife, and he ends up spending some years, not always, but he's like, Joel, you think I like spending 3 months out of the year in Brazil? It's like, it sucks. And his parent or in-laws, her parents, he's like, I can't even talk to them. They don't speak English. He's like, dude, he was like, tell them in the debate, tell them, I love my wife as Christ loves the church. I don't regret my marriage. I wouldn't undo it. I love my children, and his children are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God as interracial children. He's like, but yeah, it's way harder. It's way harder.
Learn fucking Spanish then. Use Google Translate. If your wife took the effort to learn another language to be able to communicate with you, you would think that you would do just enough to learn another language to be able to speak to her in-laws if it bothers you so much. But that's off the table. That ain't what we need to think about. We just need to talk about how difficult it is for him, the guy that ain't put forth no fucking effort to make sure this relationship works. It's on everybody else, and he needs to stay away from that. He shouldn't put forth no effort, but his wife did. I don't, and to use the Bible to try to make this argument is crazy to me. I'm just sorry, man. Like, look, dude, relationships are compromise. There's a lot of give and take. There's a lot of things that you have to do as a guy in a relationship that your girl ain't got to do. There's a lot of things in a relationship that your girl has to do that you ain't got to do. And y'all compromise together to make that shit work. If this is such a big problem for you, learn another fucking language. Get Babbel, nigga. Get Babbel. Or use your phone. This is 2026 now. You telling me you can't pick this motherfucker up right here? I got interpreter on my goddamn screen, bruh. I have interpreter on my shit. What the fuck is that on here? Yeah, I got interpreter right here on my shit, y'all. You can see interpreter. Tap on interpreter if you want to have a conversation with him, bruh. I think he just made that fucking story up. I really think he just made that story up, y'all. I think he made it up. When you got a computer in your pocket, you got a translator in your pocket, you tell him you can't have a conversation with your goddamn fucking father-in-law, your mother-in-law. My next door neighbors don't speak that good of English. When we be trying to talk and sometimes I can't understand what the fuck they saying, what I do? Swipe down interpreter. Let's go, have a conversation. It ain't that goddamn difficult, bruh. It's not that damn difficult. This motherfucker he's one of those people, keep the white race white. You're not even 100% white. Regardless whether he know it or not.
And I wish that someone hadn't been a lib. I wish I had had a pastor like you are now, because I didn't always think this way. You're right, Ruslan. But at the time, doing my premarital counseling and saying, you know what, this is permissible. I will officiate the marriage, but I would be remiss if at some point in our premarital counseling, I did not bring up the fact that marriage is already sanctifying enough. This is going to make it really hard. You might want to prayerfully reconsider.
So Joel, this is what I would add to that. I think you would say the same thing if you had a family that was a upper class white family that loved Jesus and a trailer park biker gang family.
A little different because they could still speak the same language.
Okay, they could still speak the same language, but you're talking
would
about
still
a
be easier.
massive cultural disconnect. If you're talking about an upper middle class Christian family that loves Jesus and a biker gang Hell's Angel family from a trailer park.
That massive distance, you're right, that massive distance still pales in comparison to the distance I just described.
Joel, I strongly disagree.
The distance I just described includes the distance of even language.
Yeah, the language of in-laws. Her learning English and him.
Right, but when you marry a woman, you marry her family. Like those families are united.
Sure. Let me answer this. Marriage is a sanctifying process, and so if you're marrying someone and you're deciding to potentially learn their language, potentially learn the things, these are all awesome potential adventures. So to me, this is all in how you're framing this. Like, oh man, our in-laws can't speak. I got friends that their in-laws can't speak English and they get along just fine, and they're able to communicate, and things are great. And so I think you're pointing to challenges, but these same challenges can be in real.
Called a straw man argument. It's called a straw man argument. He's grabbing this one possible situation, this one possible story that he just might have possibly made up, and is trying to act like that's going to attribute to everybody else. This is one fucking situation. I think his situation that he brought up, you got a family that's a well affluent, fucking Harvard, Yale, upper echelon, bourgeoisie family, and then the daughter or the son gets with somebody that comes from a trailer park. I think that'd be a harder problem for them to overcome than a people that can't speak the same language. Because once again, think about it. The wife is there, so she can translate for the husband. Who's going to translate the different lifestyles between somebody that's a rich motherfucker who's always been well off to a person that's poor that lives in a trailer park? Who's going to fucking facilitate that in between? I don't know.
Existence in the same race. That's what I'm pointing to.
Not quite the same. No,
I
don't think so.
I think they, and let me just add this as someone that is in an interracial marriage. I have never had any of these challenges. I've never had, like, literally my challenges in my marriage have so little to do with culture. Why? Because my wife is Black. She grew up in the same city, going to the same type of church, holding the same type of theology. And I also grew around a bunch of Black people. So I'm Armenian.
I was going to say.
So, but let me just finish. The biggest identity issues I had, Joel, was not in my interracial marriage. The biggest identity issues I had was being Armenian from Azerbaijan, hanging with a bunch of Glendales, and being super confused. And I'm white, but I'm Armenian, and ethnically, that was a way bigger identity issue than my Black wife and her amazing family and my beautiful mixed kids. So I'm just laying that out for you. Like, you're talking about an example. That's a fair example. I'm saying I've seen the same thing with white couples that are coming from massive disparity in upbringing. This dude's dad is a hell angel. He gets drunk and smashes beers. They come from an amazing family that love Jesus. That creates just as much tension.
So I understand. I think this is the problem, though. I think what we have done, especially as Westerners and especially as Americans, is we continue to point out that there are exceptions, and there are exceptions, but we point them out ad nauseum and we elevate them as though they're the norm. There are some. Let me finish.
That's literally what you just did a second ago when you talked about a guy at your church whose wife is fucking Brazilian, but he can't speak to his goddamn fucking mother and father-in-law. That's literally what you did, and now you're trying to discredit his example, his own life experience, to justify your anecdotal evidence? Like, does he not understand what he's trying to do? He's dismissing this man anecdotal, his actual lived example, which is anecdotal, to the shit that he just told us that we don't even know if it's even true. To try to say that what he said is actually what the fuck it is. Like, dude, what?
There are certainly.
He just need to come out and say you right about that. Shout out to Brick Slinger. Man, look, man, he probably just need to come out and say, look, I don't want white people being with nobody but white people. Just say that. Just come out and say that, get it off your chest, and we'll know where you're coming from, know how you're moving, because you're trying to dance around it. You're trying to dance around it and trying to make it seem like you're coming from a biblical standpoint. You're holier than thou. This is all good. There's no vitriol or evil behind it. Dude, it's just straight evil. You want to see white people with white people. Well, guess what? Go tell other white people to be with white people. And if they don't be with them, don't say nothing to them. Mind your motherfucking business, bitch. How about that?
Plenty of cases where two white individuals would still have culturally enough differences that there would be challenges in the marriage. But if we emphasize that as so it exists everywhere, the impression that we give people who, like me, who would have made those arguments, one race, the human race, the impression that we're giving people is that, so because that exists, two white individuals with cultural differences and it produces challenges in the marriage, because of that, there's really no difference if you marry a Haitian. No, there really is a difference.
Well, it depends on how many generations has she been here. Do her parents love Jesus? All Haitians aren't monolithic, Joel.
Well, if
you've never met any Christian,
if we're talking about Haitians,
yeah, are we talking about Christian
then we know
Haitians?
how many generations they've been
Hold
here.
on, slow down. Slow down. If we're talking about Christian Haitians that love Jesus and are evangelical, post-mill, we'll just say your camp, those do exist, and they're not all monolithic. And there are Christian Haitians.
Do you know some?
Yeah, yes, I do. One of my closest friends is Haitian. Yes, I know.
He's post-mill.
No, I'm messing with you and giving you your theology. I'm saying he's an evangelical second, third generation Haitian.
We all
very
know
different.
on average what the typical Haitian culture is like. They
I think you
congregate
guys
around
should really meet
restaurants.
more Haitians, brother. Like,
I know, though,
man. Haitians are not a monolith.
One of my wife's best friend was Haitian. That came in early on. I know these people, and I know also they congregate around the food and the culture. They maintain that sense of identity. We know 90% of Haitians generally identify not with American culture like we're talking about. They identify with parts of Haiti, and that actually is good and natural.
I identify with parts of Armenia.
Yeah, that's awesome. People should love their fatherland, love where they came from,
and assimilate into America.
Patriotic,
assimilate into America, and assimilate into Christian
When
heritage.
you assimilate like Ruth, you do leave behind. And there is, and I've talked to the people, some of them coming from Ukraine. There's a painful process where they're leaving behind the language, they're leaving behind the customs to become American. So you actually don't get both ways. Oh, we're honoring Haiti, and we love the food, and we fly the flag, and we watch the World Cup, and also we're completely American
Ruth
ethnicity.
forsook her.
This motherfucker. This is what lets me know these guys are not as intellectual as they try to portray themselves to be. There are people that come from other countries in Europe. Let's go to the group of people that they highly dislike right now. The Jewish people. There are a lot of Jewish people in New York that have assimilated to American culture. But guess what? In their homes, they speak Yiddish. When they're out in public talking to other Jewish people, they speak Yiddish. I guess that would be a problem for them. A Hispanic person coming across the border, being second, third generation, in their home, they still speak Spanish because they want to keep their culture alive, their language alive. But when they go out into the world, they speak English. We literally have white Americans in this country that own companies that will hire people just because they speak Spanish because they're trying to make money when they got Spanish customers. Like, what are they talking about? They believe that if you come to America and you become an American citizen, you throw away everything that was part of your past or from where you came from. They don't even fucking do that shit. They don't do it. Them motherfuckers call themselves Vikings. They ain't even got no heritage from fucking Iceland and none of that shit. They some Irish motherfuckers still talking about we Vikings. And then on top of that, we have St. Patrick's Day in this country. Why we have St. Patrick's Day in this country when that ain't got nothing to do with American culture? They want everybody else to throw away their history and their culture while they keep theirs. They prop it up. They tell everybody else to let go of the past and deal with right now. But then every time an argument comes about the Constitution or any of this shit, they talk about the founding fathers. This country was built to be a white Christian nation. What? None of them motherfuckers that came over here that founded this country Christians. They were running away from the church. They don't know their history. They just speaking out the side of their neck. And they done said it so many times that they probably somebody else said it to them. They believe it. And now they're passing that fucking false doctrine on to other people. Like, bro, ain't nobody got to throw away their heritage and their culture because they came to America. Just like if you went to another fucking country, you wouldn't throw your shit away when you in their country. You're going to respect their culture, but you also still going to be yourself. But they can't wrap their minds around it. You come over here with us, you better do exactly what we say. Assimilate. They assimilate, but they can still keep their culture, bro. If they're from Mexico and they live in America, that don't mean they can't root for the Mexican national team. What the fuck kind of shit is that? It's like saying I'm from fucking Alabama, I can't root for another team in another state. What are you talking about? That's tribalism. And that's a big problem that we have in this country right now. We got too many people being tribal, bro, picking sides. And then once you pick a side, you can't rationalize out of that because if it goes against your side, even though what you going against your side would be right, you can't do it because that's your side. So then you got to get stuck with bullshit. These motherfuckers, they don't understand the conundrum that they're roping themselves into. They don't understand it, but they're doubling down and tripling down on it. They shouldn't have a church, but if people gonna keep giving them money and letting them talk, man, shit, hey, whatever the fuck, man.
Fathers, her people, and her false Moabite gods, and like that's what people keep pointing to Ruth. You guys haven't actually done this. You've been, I think, really respectful. But like Samuel Say, for instance, was like, he was pointing that out, and like the difference I would say is that Ruth was leaving Moab. She was leaving a place where there was no Christian subset population in Moab at the time. She was leaving a place, a people that was 100% pagan.
And you know what the funny thing is? They be talking about the Bible so much, motherfucker. You wasn't in it. Those people that they talk about in the Bible, they didn't look like you. You talking about a religion of people that look like me, bruh. Those people didn't look like you. Like, does he even understand that? Y'all the people, you come from the group of people that crucified Jesus, not the people that walked with Jesus on the day. You weren't the 12 disciples. You weren't them people. They didn't look, the 12 disciples didn't look like you. Jesus didn't look like you. Y'all were the people who killed Jesus. If you want to just believe in your book, you want to believe in that book so much, let's be real about it. The Egyptians didn't look like you. Abraham didn't look like you. Jacob, John didn't look like you. But you're trying to tell other people that he looked like how the fuck to do it. Bitch. One time you came in the Bible when me was going on.
Was 100% idolatrous. So she forsook her people, and the Bible, it's not prescriptive, it's descriptive, but in that descriptive passage, it does esteem it. It elevates it as a good, look at this virtuous thing that Ruth did. And it was virtuous, not because dishonoring and severing relations from your parents is universally virtuous, but in her particular case, she was leaving for all the right reasons. Her parents, to say, goodbye, Father, and I will never see you again, was honorable because her father worshipped sand demons. Her father was a pagan, But what we have today, like Samuel Say, Ghana is 73% Christian. So in forsaking his people and coming here, it's not I'm forsaking them because they're all pagans or because they're all non-Christians, right? That's different. So then the question is, well, being here, are you going to preserve your Ghanaian heritage and love that and try to preserve it and cherish it?
Pass it down to your children.
And if so, how are you going to do that, but also assimilate here in America? Like,
I think you go walking.
Maybe it's beyond your comprehension. Maybe it's that incompetency in you. We do it every day. I'm gonna simplify it real easy for a lot of y'all. We do it every day. There are people that come from redneck communities. I'm gonna use a redneck community because I ain't gonna use a black community because that's the easy one. There are people that come from a redneck community where their family talking about Jesse James, yeah, motherfucker, goddamn, shoot that motherfucker. They come from that community. Work in corporate America. Hey, this is Sally. May I make her take your call? Who do I need to refer you to? They come from that fucking community and can translate to that. What the fuck are you talking about? They Ghanaian and they can't assimilate to American culture. Black people, we have a term called code switching. We code switch every day. I gotta go to court. You think I'm gonna be talking like this? No, Your Honor. I really don't know about that, Your Honor. He just pulled me over. I don't know what happened. Switch up real fast. What are you talking about? What is he talking about? Does he not have the capability of doing that? Or is he just trying to straw man argue the conversation because he's fucking stupid and racist? He just don't want to come off as racist. He wants to come off as if he's trying to sound like he's on some legit shit. Like, bro, you're not on no legit shit. You don't want the races mixing. Okay. Tough luck, Cookie. Don't mix the race with you. You said you got a wife. Congratulations, you did your job. Move the fuck on and mind your goddamn business. Move the fuck on. Mind your business, man. Why are you trying to control what everybody else is saying? What everybody else is doing? That ain't the Christian faith right there. See, let me see. I've said, don't forget about Christopher Columbus, who was a Spaniard, but he has a whole day in an American hero. Yeah. Got Uncanny in the building said, you're. And then he also said that was a bad code switch, Jay. I ain't out here trying to be the best today. I ain't trying to be the best today. I'm just trying to get it done. Let's keep going, man. We almost done with this shit.
Chew gum at the same time, Joe. Respectfully, man.
So do I. I talk about it all the time, but not here.
But you have Mexican protesters flying the Mexican flag as they pelt ICE officers and police.
That's all bad, and I've condemned all of that publicly.
Yeah, but do you see that?
Yes, I see. But you're trying to get it's the is to ought fallacy. Like, just because it is hard, or just because these people are doing it, doesn't mean you ought not to get married to an interracial person. This is a breakdown in the logic.
We allowed it as permissible.
Yeah, but we already looked at how that's not a formidable category. I went to the text for you. So you still haven't made the point, whether from scripture, and again, if these things were the exceptions to the rule, when we see them in church history, when we see John Wolfe marrying Pocahontas, who became Rebecca, and there's an entire thing laid out in an Anglican church in 1614, citing the historical significance, there should have been an asterisk there. Because when there's hey, this guy is an asterisk, there should be an asterisk. There's an exception to the rule. When we see polygamy, it's an exception to the rule because there was some Muslim that had 4 wives and he heard your sermon, he came to Jesus, and there's an asterisk there. But you don't see this in church history. And I can go through missionary after missionary. Miguel Rodriguez, a Spanish creator, a Christian soldier, married Luisa Hidalgo, the free black woman in St. Augustine. Like, we see this over and over, and there's never an asterisk next to them, but this is not normative. If there was a dude in your church that was polygamous and you're like, man, I don't know, do you get rid of these wives? There would be an asterisk. It's clearly not normative. It's clearly not in God's design. And that, again, you guys have not been able to establish this from scripture. We don't see
They're not going to ever be able to, y'all. They're not going to ever be able to, because it's bullshit. It's bullshit of the highest order. These are just pretty much racists trying to use the word of God. It's the same thing like the slave masters did when they had slaves back when we first got to this country. Well, when we first, because black people were already here, but when motherfuckers started getting enslaved, they used that Bible as a way to control the population, control the people. They try to use it that way. And why I try to switch to that? Oh yeah, I'm about to say they try to use that Bible to control people, and they use it still to this day. They're dead ass wrong, in my honest opinion. They're dead ass wrong. These are evil people trying to pretend as if they're children of the Lord. They're not. I think he frowns upon them, in my honest opinion, and I don't think they deserve the grace that they won't extend to other people. If you can't extend grace to people, you don't deserve that grace. But look, man, here's a few of the videos that I just ran across today, man, that we wanted to talk about. We're gonna start doing a few of these midday streams, man. See what's popping. But tonight we are gonna be back over here, y'all. Make sure y'all tune in. We got the sports show tonight, man. We got to talk about these divisional round games, and we got to get ready for the AFC NFC championship games. I don't know. I say national championship because we just had a national championship. Shout out to Indiana, y'all. They pulled that thing out. 16-0, bro. We ain't had a 16-0 team in a minute. But yeah, we'll be right here Tonight at 8:05 Central Time. Y'all make sure y'all tune in if y'all into sports and stuff. It should be interesting, man, because we actually have a little time to talk about some other topics. And see, my boy Op said he really tried to use the Bible for racism, laughing out loud. Yeah, really did. Where they get that whole slaves obey your master and all that bullshit. But they've been doing it for a long time. Just look, if you don't know your past, you're doing to repeat it. And these people prey on that. A lot of people don't know their past because it's easy to take advantage of somebody that's stupid. What Trump told you, he likes the poorly educated. But y'all hit that like, subscribe, turn notifications on, share the video, and we'll catch y'all on the next one as always, man.